Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Brian's Horror Corner, or welcome if you are new. And welcome back to my 1980s horror series, specifically 1980, where we're taking a look at horror movies from that year. Um, Today, we're going to go ahead and take a look at a movie that I actually contemplated watching it on YouTube because it's on YouTube for free. And having watched the movie, I kind of wish I would have done that now. But anyway, from 1980, it's Beyond Evil, which I have on Blu-ray here, the Trauma release here from 2019, I believe, with John Saxon and Linda Day George, directed by Herb Fried. So yeah, let's just get into Beyond Evil. This will be one of my shorter reviews because I really just don't have that much to say about it, honestly. So let's just go ahead and get into it here. So, Beyond Evil is a 1980 American supernatural horror film directed by Herb Fried and starring John Saxon and Linda Day George. Its plot follows an architect who suspects his wife is possessed by a former resident of the historic colonial mansion they have just moved into. So, architect Larry Andrews and his new wife, Barbara, travel to a small island off the coast of the Philippines where they are due to move into a condominium. Barbara is perturbed when Larry's business associate Dell notifies them the residence is not yet ready and pays for them to stay in a hotel, and tells Larry she feels Dell exploits him. At dinner, Dell subsequently reveals to the couple that there is no condominium to begin with and that he instead arranged for them to stay in this large historic colonial mansion named Casa Fornina? Fortuna. I don't know. Doesn't really matter that much, no. Dell soon explains that the home is supposedly haunted by Alma Martin, the first lady of the home. She and her husband, Esteban, killed each other in the home according to local legend. Prior to their respective murders of one another, Alma became heavily involved in the occult. Barbara begins being awoken by chanting and is troubled by visions of a woman she comes to find is Alma. On one occasion she unconditionally stabs herself in the hand but claims to Larry it was accidental. Barbara is hospitalized and Dr. Albanos, a physician, runs tests on her. Meanwhile, Larry meets their neighbors, Leah Solomon and her father, Dr. Solomon, a healer. Leah later confronts Larry and says that she and her father can sense that Barbara's in danger and urge him to have her healed. Larry becomes suspicious when the records of the test Dr. Albanos completed on Barbara disappear. Dr. Solomon subsequently tells Larry that Alma is vying for Barbara's body and that Barbara is in danger of spirit possession. So that's the setup and the premise for Beyond Evil. As far as the cast goes, again, John Saxon is Larry Andrews, Linda Day George is Barbara Andrews, Michael Dante is Del Giorgio, Mario Milano is Dr. Albanos, and Janice Lind is Alma Martin. So yeah, there you have it. To set up the premise and the cast for 1980's Beyond Evil. There's a reason that this movie's for free on YouTube, and I suggest that if you want to check this movie out, watch it on YouTube for free. It's not a good movie. I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to be straight up about it right off the bat. And this review is going to be short because, like I said, I just really don't have that much to say about it. I don't want to say I had high expectations for it. I really didn't have any expectations for it, but this has all the makings of a made-for-TV movie, frankly, except it wasn't. So let's get into it, starting with the things that I liked, and this will go quick. John Saxon and Linda Day George. I think they're pretty good in the movie given what they have to work with and given the script. I think they're both good actors and they both do what they can with the material here. So I didn't feel like they came off as, mailing it in for a paycheck or, anything like that. They were both good. There are a few effective visual scenes with Alma in here. Early on in the movie, specifically when they are telling the story of how Alma and her husband killed each other, and then Alma's spirit comes to haunt the mansion. I think there's some somewhat effective creepy scenes. I'm not going to say effective. There's some somewhat creepy visuals of that, particularly early in the movie, but having to do with Alma. Um, Earlier on in the movie when they are telling, oh yeah, I already said that. Boy, I'm even having to give my pros twice because I just don't have that many. The setting of the whole movie is pretty good. Having this island setting that is somewhat isolating and has the whole local tribal legend of this haunting and all those on the island that are aware of it, as well as the local healing methods they use. It's very different than a movie that would take place in a city or in, on mainland or something, where you get on these islands and they have their own way of doing things, their own sort of tribal ways, and they're not, for visitors, they're very kind of unorthodox. And so that was kind of, I think that worked for the setting here. So I did like the setting of the island, and the mansion itself is decent looking. It's not one of the scariest looking mansions or most effective looking haunting grounds or anything like that you'll see in a horror movie, but it's effective enough for the setting that they use in this movie. So yeah, those are my pros for Beyond Evil from 1980. As far as getting into cons go, the effects. The green eyes or green light that they use, those effects are not effective, and frankly are beyond bad, beyond laughable. They're like $1 effects from a thrift shop, honestly. And yeah, I'm all for practical, low budget effects. I can appreciate them. Not in this movie. It just feels lazy, like they're not even trying. There's movies that came out before this that had better effects, so I'm not even going to give them the benefit of the doubt with the year that it was made. So that's the first thing that's noticeably bad. Also, the score is way over dramatic and not fitting at all for what we actually see in this movie. It's pretty silly, and I would argue even distracting at times with how over dramatic it is, with this echo, echo, echo that they keep repeating over and over again. And then beyond that, the story is very cliche and uninteresting, frankly. I had a hard time really getting into this movie, and frankly, I almost dozed off 3 different times watching it. Not just it usually doesn't happen to me. Now, granted, it's a cloudy, rainy day in the middle of the afternoon here when I watch this, so you could say that played into it. But I think if I had a movie that actually had some entertainment value, that I was actually interested in, there's no way I would have dozed off or almost dozed off. There's just a lot of long scenes of just uninteresting dialogue where nothing really happens. The few kills that we do get in the movie aren't fun. They're not gory. They're not really all that bloody. They really make no sense and are pretty lame, honestly. You have one guy who's driving his car and it starts falling apart, and then he ends up going over this cliff. But while he's in the air, the car just explodes. It's like something you'd see on The Simpsons, where a milk truck or something just explodes as it comes up to a tree for no reason. It's just bad. I don't know how else to say it. The final resolution makes no sense as one of the characters puts a wedding ring back on another character who is possessed at the time. But the problem with that is the ring has been on this character for most of the movie when she's been possessed. But somehow now all of a sudden she's not possessed as a result of this. Okay. I guess that goes with the rest of the movie. Overall, it's just a very low budget, almost made for TV quality kind of movie. Boring movie with bad effects and really no fun to be had here. And when you see John Saxon and Linda Day George are in the movie, you kind of expect better. I think maybe that's where my expectations were a little bit higher, but it just proves that even great actors can't save an atrocious script and bad execution on a dime's budget, literally. So, yeah. If you're going to watch Beyond Evil, go to YouTube, search it, and watch it there. Do not do what I did. Now, I didn't spend a lot of money for this movie, but I don't know if I'm going to keep this or not. I can tell you right now that I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is not going to make my top 10 movies from 1980. I'm pretty safe in that assumption, even though I haven't seen I still have a lot of 1980 movies to watch, but yeah, I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. I'm not really sure why I'm giving it a 6. I guess it's probably John Saxon and Linda Day George's presence as well as the setting. I'm being nice as well. I'm just a hell of a nice guy, frankly. there's more bad than good here, but watch it on YouTube for free. So 6 out of 10 for Beyond Evil from 1980. Go ahead and comment down below if you guys have seen this movie already, what you think of it. Do you like it more than I do? If so, give me reasons, please. Or are you with me that it's not very good? Please like this video, hit the little notification bell down below, and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my upcoming reviews for this series, as well as any of my great horror content I have coming out beyond this series, past July 31st, when I move on from my 1980s. Well, 1980. 81 will be coming back the beginning of next year, and then so forth. But with that being said, I hope everybody's doing well. Hope you're enjoying this series overall. And as always, stay scared. Bye.